You don't correct like that. You don't correct. Just correct him, but don't be rude to him. Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Kareem. We started the new surah, Surah Al-Anfal. And the verse started as, Yas'alunaka anil Anfal. They ask you with regards to the Anfal, the Fay, what should be done with it. And we briefly explained that after the Battle of Badr, the Muslims were divided into three groups. Those that protected Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, those who pursued the enemy to see that the enemy did not come back to attack, and those who went to collect the booty. So each one was laying claim, they're saying, look, we should be getting this because our contribution was the greatest. And then this verse was revealed to say that, look, um, Allah Ta'ala and His Rasul, they will make the final decision. And there's another verse also which suggests that one-fifth will go to the Baytul Mal and the rest will be distributed among the believers. So the reconciliation between the two is that, look here, it will go to Allah and His Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and Allah and His Rasul will put one-fifth in the Baytul Mal and the four-fifths will be distributed, right? So that's a reconciliation. So I did explanation of the verse here. The word anfal is the plural. We covered that there. So if you look in the Quran, you see with regards to the spoils of war after jihad, there's three different words. One is fay, and one is it is fay, and one is afa, and other one is ghanima, right? Ghanima, fay, and anfal, right? So the meaning of these words differ with slight variation. Since the difference between them is slight, is very slight difference, there are occasions when one word is used for the other to mean spoils in the absolute sense. So sometimes these words are used interchangeably. You say the one and intend the other. But generally, ghanima generally carries the sense of booty obtained from the adversity through fighting in jihad. So when there's a physical fight, then you normally refer to that as ghanima. Fay is booty obtained from the disbelief without active fighting and killing. So when maybe they flee the battlefield, they run away, what they leave behind, that is referred to as fay, something they gave up voluntarily. Then nafal or anfal also used to refer to the reward which the supreme commander of the jihad may bestow upon a particular mujahid in return for his exemplary performance. Then anfal, so generally they all have the same meaning. But sometimes, I told you, ghanima refer to that which is forcefully extracted from the enemy, and fay could refer to that which they voluntarily give up, and anfal refer to that which the Amir of the army, sometimes maybe there's somebody, due to the outstanding performance, he gives something. So this meaning has been reported. This meaning is reported from Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas as in Tafseer Jarir. Then the occasions when spoils as such are also identified through the terms of nafal and anfal. In this verse, most commentators have gone by this general meaning. So in this verse that we are doing here, we take anfal in the general meaning. We're not going to say it is a fay which is given up voluntarily, or ghanima which is taken by force, or something which is given. We just say general meaning, the spoils of war, right? So the same general meaning as reported from Sayyidina Abdullah ibn Abbas in Sahih Bukhari. The truth of the matter is that this word is used to carry both meanings, the general and the specific. Therefore, no difference exists here. And the best explanation in this connection has been given by Imam Ubaid in his Kitab al-Amwal. He says, lexically, nafal anfal means grace, reward, or gift. And it's a very special blessing of Allah Ta'ala bestowed upon the Muslim Ummah, the most fortunate recipients of His mercy, in that the properties obtained from the disbelievers through fight and jihad were made lawful for the Muslims. Otherwise, the practice did not exist amongst past communities. In fact, I told you in the previous ummah, the law which governs spoils was such property was not lawful to anyone. All spoils were collected and deposited at one place, and a fire or light would come from the heavens and burn it up. This was supposed to be a sign indicating that God-orientated fighting was acceptable in sight. The spoils so collected and deposited were not burnt up by the lightning from the heaven, it was supposed to be a sign that effort was not acceptable. So in previous ummahs, I told you, the spoils of war was not shared by the believers, but rather it was put out in a field, and then if a fire from the heavens would come and accepted it or burnt it, that was a sign of acceptance. And the similar thing is mentioned with regards to Habil and Kabil when they were disputing about the lady they must marry, etc. They had to make a sacrifice. فَتُقُبِّلَ مِنْ أَحَدِهِمَا وَلَمْ يُتَقَبَّلْ مِنْ الْآخَرِ قال لأقتلنك قال إنما يتقبل الله من المتقين لئن بسطت. Remember, so based upon a narration from Sayyidina Jabir radiallahu anhu, appearing in Bukhari and Muslim, the Holy Prophet has been reported, I've been blessed with 5 things which were not given to any prophet or his community before me. One of the 5 things is أحلت لي الغنائم ولم تحل لأحد قبلي, that is made lawful for me are the spoils, though they were not made lawful for anyone before me. The injunction of Anfal given in the cited verses is the spoils are for Allah Ta'ala and the Messenger. What this means that its real ownership is that of Allah Ta'ala, while the right of their disposal rests with the Messenger, who distributes them in accordance with the command of Allah Ta'ala at his discretion. So yes, there is no contradiction in that. It means it is for Allah and His Rasul, and they will give it upon their discretion. And what is their discretion? 1/5 to the Baytul Mal, right? Therefore, a group of leading authorities in Tafseer was Sayyid Abdullah ibn Abbas, Mujahid, Ikrama, Sadi, and some other scholars among them said that this injunction was operative during the early period of Islam, when the law of distribution of spoils, which is going to appear in the first section of this very verse, was yet to be revealed, because their spoils of war has been left at the discretion of the Holy Prophet, who was to dispose of them as he wished. So if we take it to be 2 separate injunctions, we say in initial stages it was left to the discretion of the Prophet, but later on Allah Ta'ala gave the detailed injunctions. So the detailed injunctions will appear later and joined with 1/5 of the entire spoils should be deposited in the Baytul Mal, the treasury of the Muslim state, to cover the needs of the common Muslims, and the remaining 4/5 should be distributed among the jihad participants under a particular law, the details of which appear in authentic hadith. Inshallah, when you do next year, you do to Kitabul Ghanaim, etc. In the Sayyid Sita. So the detailed statement abrogated the first verse of Surah Al-Fal, and some respected elders have stated that there is no case of abrogation at this place. Instead, the difference here is the brevity, and is in that the difference. The difference here is that of brevity and detail. The first verse of Surah Al-Fal is brief, with its details appearing in verse 41. However, Fay property with injunctions about which have been taken up in Surah Al-Hashr has been placed totally at the disposal of the Holy Prophet, which may act as he wishes at his discretion. Therefore, in describing the injunction in that place, it has been said, وَمَا آتَاكُمُ الرَّسُولُ فَخُذُوا وَمَا نَهَاكُمْ أَنْ فَانْتَهُوا. Whatever the message gives you, take it, and which he tells you to leave, you must leave it. So one some ulama say that will say this verse 41, that refers to Fay in particular. It doesn't refer to, it refers to Fay in particular. It doesn't refer to Anfal. That Fay, the one that is given up voluntarily, it has a different law. So these details tell us that spoils refer to properties which are obtained through jihad confrontation, and Fay properties which are obtained without fighting and killing in jihad. So if we say Fay is different to, if we say that the Fay is different to Ghanima, or if we say Fay is different to Anfal, then we'll say that Fay is the one which has that law of 1/5 go to the Baytul Mal and 4/5 goes to the soldiers, and Ghanima, it is totally at the discretion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As for the word Anfal, it is used for both, and then we say Anfal refer to Ghanima and to Anfal, right? Or rather, refers to Anfal refer to both to Ghanima and refer to Fay. As for the word Al-Anfal, is for both, whether the same is the gender or particular, is also used for the reward which is bestowed by the commander-in-chief of a jihad on a ghazi. So in this connection, there are 4 forms of giving awards to ghazi in a jihad, which date back to the blessed times. So if you see the reward that would be given by the Amir to the fighters, there's 4 forms. That it is proclaimed that whoever kills an adversary will become the owner of properties obtained from the soldier killed by him. This property will not just be deposited with the rest of the spoils. So one law was this here: if you kill a particular person, right, in jihad, then whatever is his property, that will be your property. That's the first one. That a group is taken out from the larger army and sent on a jihad to a particular target area, with the orders that the spoils obtained from that area will belong to the particular group sent there. Subject to the obligation, 1/5 of the property thus obtained will be deposited in the Baitul Mal treasure of the Muslim state to be used to cover the needs of the common Muslims. Another one is this: if the Amir sends a particular group on a special mission, right? Sends a particular group on a special mission, then also for them, whatever they obtain there, that will be for them, except 1/4 that they will put into the treasury. That a particular Ghazi is given something out of 1/5 of spoils deposited in the Baitul Mal in return for his distinct achievement by the Amir of Jihad under his discretion. Then there's another third explanation that you from the 1/5, right? You take from that and you will give a special reward to a particular person. That is a certain portion from the entire spoils set aside to be given as a reward to the serving soldier of the jihad force, such as those who attended to the horses of the mujahideen and helped them with the chores. So the substance of the verse is addressing the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah Ta'ala said, people ask you about the spoils. You tell them that the spoils are for Allah and the Messenger. That is, no one holds a claim on them or is their owner. So the bottom line, if we look at all the different explanations we gave, that Fay refer to this, Ghanima refer to this, etc., etc., or that you give if you kill a soldier, then that what he has becomes yours, whatever all of that. But whatever it is, the bottom line, the bottom message is the substance of the verse is addressing the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah Ta'ala said, people ask you about the spoils. You tell them that the spoils are for Allah Ta'ala and the Messenger. That is, no one holds a claim of him who is the owner. Whatever the Messenger of Allah Ta'ala decides under the command of Allah Ta'ala will be the operative law. That's simple. So whatever laws we've discussed, it all falls under the broader overarching principle. And what is the broader overarching principle? That whatever Allah Ta'ala and His Rasul decided, that is what will happen. You can't make the decision. So unity among the people is based on taqwa. The last verse, Allah Ta'ala said, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَصْلِحُوا ذَاتَ بَيْنِكُمْ وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. So fear Allah and set your relations right, and be Allah and His Messenger if you are believers. This is addressed to the companions of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The reference is to what happened at the Battle of Badr when the noble companions had differed among themselves about the distribution of spoils, which posed the danger that their mutual relations may become strained. Through this verse, Allah Himself settled the matter of the distributions of spoils. Right now, they are to retain their hearts for the better and set their relations right. So Allah Ta'ala and His Rasul will decide how this thing must be distributed, and fear Allah Ta'ala and make your relations right. Now they are to retain their hearts for the better and set the relations right. The four of the method proposed taqwa, the fear of Allah Ta'ala, and the sense of responsibility before Him. Experience bears out that under the above influence of a heart filled with the fear of Allah Ta'ala and Akhirah, major disputes get resolved in no time, and deep-rooted hatred is apparent in thin air, subhanAllah. So it's here why Allah Ta'ala says now there's a dispute. فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَأَصْلِحُوا ذَاتَ بَيْنِكُمْ. This is proven over and over again. When people fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when there's a difference of opinion, when people fear Allah Ta'ala, when decisions have to be made, when there's a fear of Allah Ta'ala, then the people will make they'll make fair decisions, right? Experience bears out that under the active influence of a heart filled with the fear of Allah Ta'ala and Akhirah, major disputes get resolved in no time, and deep-rooted hatred is apparent in thin air. Therefore, after proposing the method of taqwa in this verse, it is set it says, of that is set your relations right through taqwa. Said to aslihu dhata bainahum. After that, it is further explained by saying, in kuntum mu'mineen, and obey Allah and His messengers if you are believers. That is, the obedience of Allah Ta'ala and the messenger should be total and perfect if you are believers. In other words, iman, faith demands two demands. One, two, faith and faith iman or faith demands obedience and ita'ah, right? And ita'ah then is the outcome of taqwa, the fear of Allah Ta'ala. When people become the practitioners of these virtues, then mutual disputes shall stand resolved automatically, and a heart shall be filled with love rather than hostility. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the English explanation of the first verse. Okay, we'll stop there, inshallah. Next time, inshallah, we still have to do the Arabic of this verse. Whatever we've done thus far, may Allah Ta'ala accept it. May Allah Ta'ala accept it from us, even though we were not sincere and our intentions were not correct. May Allah Ta'ala make it correct. May Allah Ta'ala show it on our mizan. May Allah Ta'ala send the reward to our disease. May Allah Ta'ala make it a means of shifa for all of those that are ill and ailing. May Allah Ta'ala put peace and sukoon in their hearts. May Allah Ta'ala accept. So inshallah, not this Monday, next Monday we shall continue. Subhanallah wa bihamdihi, subhanakallah bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu. First we stop there, inshallah.